20th, 2024 to order. Roll call.
Mayor Truman,
Here.
Councilmember Colbert,
Here.
Councilmember Wilson,
Here.
Councilmember Bass,
Here.
Councilmember Anderson, Councilmember Gregory,
Here.
Councilmember Kerstetter,
Here.
Councilmember Evans,
Here.
Councilmember Stamp.
Present. Okay, let's stand for the invocation.
Well, let's pray. Father, we just thank you for the opportunity for these wonderful people to be meeting tonight to talk about your business in this community. Father, pray you give wisdom as only you can. Father, thank you for the civil service that is displayed here, portrayed, and the gifts and talents you've given these men and women. I thank you for the protection in this city by those that are assigned to protect it, Lord. I thank you for those who go out as first responders on all aspects as well. Pray your protection over them. And Father, we just thank you most of all for being able to come into a relationship with you through Jesus. And we thank you that we live in a free society where we can express these things and everybody can speak their mind. So tonight, Lord, I pray you would be glorified in this meeting, that you would be honored by the way everyone is treated and they speak. And God, would you be glorified in this great community of Valley Center. Thank you for the freedom we have. And we pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Move on to the approval of the agenda. Do you have any changes or suggestions or questions?
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second. Have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Moving on to the council minutes for February 6th, 2024.
Motion to approve the minutes of February 6, 2024, regular council meeting as presented.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the minutes for February 6th, 2024. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Moving on to presentations and proclamations. We have some appointments to make.
A few down there, Mayor.
Oh, okay, I'm
Few items
sorry.
down.
So we don't have any. So now we go down to a public forum. Is anyone here from the public who'd like to address the council?
There's nothing controversial tonight.
If not, we will move on.
Was it the last time?
We will move on to appointments. We have 3 appointments for the Outdoor Spaces and Public Priorities Board. Proprieties Board. Got the list.
Can we make one motion or does it have to be okay?
They just told me we had to make one motion.
Unless
there
someone
was-
objects to one.
Okay. Motion to approve appointments to the Public Properties and Outdoor Spaces Board as presented.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the appointments to the Outdoor Space and Public Properties Board. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Moving on to old business. Ordinance number 140224, rezoning property south of 130 North Poplar Court.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Mr. Schrack was not able to join us as he is participating in the Main Street, Kansas conference this week, and so he is busy attending those functions on our behalf. Also, here before you is the second reading of Ordinance 140224, the rezoning of property from R1B to R2. This is for those duplexes just to the south of the existing one on the west side of Sheridan, just to the north of Main Street. Dan, for any questions?
Motion to approve ordinance 1402-24, rezoning property south of 130 North Poplar Court from R1B to R2 for second reading.
Second. Have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 1402-24. Second reading. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Moving on to new business. Resolution 748-24. Update to the city boundary map.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Back in January, the city entered an agreement with PEC to update the city's legal boundary description. This is to update the description to include recent annexations. A few of those include property east of Seneca between 69th and 77th, east of Ridge between 77th and 85th, and east of Meridian between middle school and high school. This was requested or required by the county, Sedgwick County, so that they can keep updated file in their records. So, opting the formal updated boundary.
Dale?
Just for clarification, one of the county requests was the road from 69th to the bridge, right?
Yes.
You can zoom in a lot better than I can see on my paper. But that does not include the properties on the east and the west of that road. Accurate, that's correct. I just got lost in where you're at. There we go. Okay. So how is that signified on that map, or is it not because it's not property?
I would defer to city engineer Shear.
I guess I would have to ask for clarification from the plating group.
Okay.
I don't know the answer to
'Cause
that.
My understanding is we're now responsible for that road.
Annexed into,
I don't think we annexed it. I think we just
just a request.
doing the maintenance on it. It's not technically ours. It's
A
just,
part of the
we're
city
doing maintenance.
boundary.
Okay.
Well, and this is as of 2023. So
Yeah, this would
let's
be,
go ahead and table this so we can get clarification on that. That's a great point.
Okay. Thank you. So do we need a motion for that?
Need a motion to table it, yes.
Some of he just moved it. I second it. Sorry.
Did I get a second?
I got a second.
Okay. I have a motion and a second to table the resolution 748-24 for further clarification.
To next meeting.
Next meeting. Okay, till the next meeting. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Approval of the organization chart revisions.
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. You get to hear me a few times today, so I do apologize for that. Of course, with our most recent departure of the Assistant City Administrator for Finance and Administration, it's always a good time and a good opportunity to really review the overall organizational flow chart, seeing if there are some areas that we can make changes to when it comes to efficiency, effectiveness, whenever we're delivering the best services possible to the citizens of Valley Center. And in doing so, it's based upon my recommendation and the various other communities that I've been in to go ahead and propose this change to the organizational flow chart. What I'm proposing and what we had previously was the Assistant City Administrator for Finance and Administration, which was Barry Smith. Before that was Christine Pullian, who was the first one, and then Barry, who she had hired prior to her resignation when she took another role in a different state. And so those are the only two assistant city administrators in that capacity that we've had. And so, based upon, my now almost 5 years of being here, I wanted to see, where we could maybe make some changes when it came to the flow chart. And with doing so, changing that assistant city administrator title to a finance director, and then moving 3 of the people who used to directly report to the assistant city administrator for finance and administration, and actually creating a new department director position, which would be the city clerk slash HR director, and promote Christy Carithers, who does a fantastic job as our city clerk and really has served as the HR without having the title for the past few years, at least since I've been here. The HR has kind of been something that's been spread out between 3 different folks without having a real clear path. If you refer back or remember when we changed the handbook, we did make those changes then when it came to city clerk or HR director. And so I kind of planted that seed back in 2023 when we passed that handbook to make it a little clearer when we actually make this transition at some point in time. And so really this is now, implementing that. The other positions that would pull out from underneath of the assistant city admin would be the court clerk and then senior coordinator. So the senior services coordinator would be those 2 that would then report directly to the city clerk or HR director. Also in doing so and adding another department director in the administrative role, that would give opportunities for some other staff members on the flow chart that may not have another step up, and give them an opportunity to take a leadership role whenever that potential position would become available. So it kind of gives some incentive for our current employees as well that are in administrative functions and so forth. That's something I've heard over and over with some of our more tenured employees that are in administrative assistant roles, or that there's no progression. Where can I move up to? And so this would give that those folks another potential opportunity to take a leadership role as well, whenever that would become available. Not saying it is, but given the opportunity, looking at the overall flow chart, those are the considerations that I take into account when reviewing this. Also, too, the wage standpoint, so the wage aspect of a finance director versus an assistant city administrator is substantially different as well. And so we can do both of these things, with the current budget that we do have for 24. And so this is my recommendation. I bring it to you before you now with Barry's departure, and then also with the ability then to advertise and start right away our search for a finance director to then start this process and transition. Dan, for any questions?
Dale?
So you answered at least one of my questions already. Who, in your absence, who would be you if you have to go away for a week or so for vacation?
Hey, I've done better with that.
I agree. Who's the go-to for when you're gone?
And so actually, when I had surgery and those things, I do have an incapacitation memo that the city clerk does have, and that does appoint Lloyd Newman, the public safety director, if I become incapacitated. Typically, even when a city administrator or those things, we take vacations, that doesn't relieve us of our duties and responsibilities. Those things still take place. We still fulfill those needs. There's not typically just a second that you say, hey, he's in charge while I'm gone, or she's in charge while I'm gone. That's not something that typically happens. But if there's a death, of myself, or like I said, if I become incapacitated, then that's when that memo. then
So that's
basically-
proceduralized is what I'm getting at.
Yes.
Okay.
And then actually, and then it states in there that that is for a temporary period of time until the mayor and council can convene and make decisions that are best fit for the day-to-day operations of the municipality. So it's kind of, immediate. And then there's a process to have the mayor and council convene to then make decisions.
Okay, then you are ready to post that finance director position, assuming we approve this.
Yes, and so we'll work on finalizing, wage and all those things still yet. That unfortunately I took some time off last week with my grandma here, and so I'll finalize that and hopefully get it out by the end of this week.
Okay.
Took some time off that you had wanted to.
No, that's good. I'm glad. So Lloyd was taking care of everything while you're gone.
Any other questions?
Make a motion to approve changes to the city organizational chart.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the changes in the organizational chart. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Moving on to item C, designation of account signers, Emprise, Halsted, and Intrust Banks.
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. And so before you is updating the signature cards for these financial institutions. So sorry, not enough coffee in me today. And I thought that we would be able to just kind of operate with the existing one until we found a replacement. But the bank said that there kind of has to be 2 city staff signers on it, and some of the bank issues. And then also there were some that had just Barry still on it, and so we had to kind of just make some changes now across the board. And then when we do bring somebody on board, then we'll have to do it again. And the bank said that's absolutely fine, as we have a few folks that represent banks can speak more eloquently to it if they so choose.
Discussion? Dale?
I don't know if I asked this last time, but it, does it have to be the council president or just a council member on the, it says Ben Anderson, council president. I'm just curious, does it have to be?
No, I don't believe there's any statute that would require. I think just historically that has always kind of been, because in the absence of the mayor,
Right.
and the council president runs the meetings,
Right.
and then signs. So
Just
I
curious.
think just kind of
Just curiosity.
procedurally, that's what has happened. And I've seen that every time I've been.
Move to approve Brent Clark, Desiree Womack, Mayor Jet Truman, and Ben Anderson as authorized signers on City of Valley Center checking accounts, and remove Barry Smith as signer on all accounts.
Second?
Have a motion and a second to approve the designation account signers.
Or
For
was
the
that
banks.
Wilson or Colbert?
Wilson.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same. Motion carried. Approval agreement with PEC for Seneca Street concept and drainage analyst.
Good evening again. Tonight, I am requesting approval for an agreement with PEC for the Seneca Street project. This is the first of a couple agreements if we move forward. This first one covers just conceptual design and drainage analysis. That kind of sets us up. That way we can kind of narrow in the design, go through concepts with city staff, decide what the layout is going to be, kind of what everybody's desires are. And then after the conceptual stage, we'll come back for a final design agreement that we can narrow down the scope and the cost for that a little better. Just a little background on the project. So this will connect, as you can see there, connect from the Ford Street project where we did the Seneca realignment. So it'll connect there and go north until 85th Street. On the agenda item description, there was a kind of a breakdown of everything that will be a part of this project. There'll be a walking path on the west side there, some sort of street or pedestrian lighting, length of it, the bridge replacement there for the ditch. Funding wise, we assisted the city through some KDOT cost share and WAMPO applications over the last few years for this project. By the time that was all said and done, Grant, correct me if I'm wrong, we have around like $1.6 million in grant funds on this project. Right there, that estimate with the funding applications, just shy of 6 million. Probably about 20-ish% on grant funds for this project. Design time frame, which will, again, this is just concept design and drainage analysis. But just for your knowledge, overall timeline of the project, we would be tracking final design starting this summer, taking approximately a year, and then advertising in the time frame of late summer, early fall of 25. And then total construction timeline, probably 12 to 15 months total. Bridge adds quite a bit of time.
Any questions, Dale?
So I didn't get that map or that other thing in my packet, but that's okay. That total Seneca project you're talking about is 6-ish million. Okay. Is that part of the TIF district? Okay. Okay. So I didn't know if there's anything that we need to think about for that, or is that part of the study?
Yeah, and so if you recall, when we set up the TIP district, we've been just a few months delayed from the Corps of Engineers, about 20. And so, with that delay, we've also then delayed our grants. But the TIF revenues are going to, in that master budget that we had for the TIP district, that's going to cover our cost with the incremental increase. And that's why we've been pushing this off. We don't want to do this, without having those TIF revenues coming in to pay for it. And so, the state has been great to work with. KDOT's been very gracious with extending the deadline or the timeframes of the cost share grants. And then in the meantime, we're actually able to get additional funds from WAMPO for the multi-use path. And so, the longer we wait, it's not really hurting anything. The development, hopefully we begin dirt work. We just got all of our approvals and those things. So dirt work will start in the beginning of March here. I believe the second week in March is when you'll see crews back on site and dirt work commencing once again. And then also last Friday, we just released the RFP for Prairie Lake Space 4 for all the construction docks for that. Those were the specials that you had passed and approved a few meetings ago. And then, of course, that then gave authorization to submit those out, send those out for bid. And so when those houses all start coming online, that's when the incremental increase in the valuation will then go to pay the TIF bonds that we've already issued. And so the road is included in that master budget. We also are working with, and I apologize that I didn't include just because this was for the PC portion. But if you do recall in this area, there's a section just north of the realignment where both sides of the road are in the county. And so the county is going to be cost sharing and paying for that section. And so at least, $500,000. And these are, figures from estimates from when we applied for the grants. So it could change, but they've already dedicated to paying for both sides of the road for that section of theirs. Of course, then we'll take ownership of it once we're completed, but that makes sense. We take care of it anyways. So, but this will clean things up. And so, there are a few different funding sources, at least 3 right now, that are going to be involved in this project.
Are you assuring us that PEC is giving us a good rate?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ron?
Yeah, the question I got is this in advance on the road being worked on now, Seneca, instead of waiting another year?
And so this will then put, if we start our design and do all that now, this will then put construction a year from now, or actually longer than that. And so we will actually let the project in July of 25, right? July or August of 25. And that's when construction will start. But we need to design that road. Otherwise, we're going to have all these things, all this development happening, and then we're going to build a road in the middle of them trying to build all the homes and commercial and all those things. So we kind of have to time it all together at the same time. So then, Seneca is getting done at the same time as the infrastructure in the subdivisions and the actual roads throughout the TIP district.
Doesn't that all be tied in the package?
Well, it won't be all tied together, but the construction, the phasing of it will happen. So then, we're not opening up the entrance to Prairie Lakes Phase 4, then all of a sudden shutting down their only access and then making them go off of Ford Street to directly into Prairie Lakes, because that's a fire concern and safety concern. And so we're trying to time it, except for we couldn't go early because we didn't have the guaranteed funds from the TIP revenue, because the Corps was holding us up on being able to actually construct and start getting our incremental increase. And so the timing of everything got really thrown off with the Corps 20 months. And I just didn't feel confident and comfortable enough for everything to go through and gamble that we were going to have the funds available to pay the $5 million up front ourselves without making sure that we could pay the TIP bonds. So.
Thank you.
Yep.
Clint, excuse me.
Oh, I don't have any.
Oh, that's Robert, excuse me.
Mr. Shear, share with me, I know that this is a conceptual drawing there of a 3-lane road. Share with me the benefits of going from a current 2-lane road that we have today to that 3-lane road.
Just with the developments that, once you get to Prairie Lakes, again, it's conceptual. So a lot of that may change, it might be medians, might be intermittent medians. There'll be turning lanes for those developments shown there, because you have Prairie Lakes and then the whole TIP area. Just getting people off the main, not stopping to turn and backing up traffic. All those things will be looked at, discussed with city staff, pros, cons. This is just what we used to show the funding agencies, just kind of.
Then can you also share with the public, because there's been questions about widths of sidewalks. Explain to me or share with me your thoughts on the width of a sidewalk and why.
So, there's a minimum, and then basically, if you want to call it a walking path, a sidewalk, pedestrian avenue, you can call them a lot of things. I guess safety. I guess I'll defer to Brent. There's city staff input on desires. We will give a minimum and design it ADA compliancy, and staff input from there.
Whenever we can get some, grant money, we're going to take advantage of it. No different than Meridian projects. When you look at the Meridian and we're, $9.2 million, and we're going to be about hopefully just under $2 million of the city contribution. Then if they want to have a 10-foot side, we'll put a 10-foot sidewalk in. That's what people like. That's what people desire. People want to be able to be on a sidewalk or a multi-use path and be able to run and have a bike pass them with a kid cart behind it all at the same time. Same thing goes with golf carts. As soon as golf carts, if they're allowed or get passed at some point in time, they're safer to be on those. They can be on there with somebody running, with somebody biking. All those things can happen on that multi-use path. Another reason that people forget, because we're in Kansas, this year's different. We've actually gotten more snow here than my grandma has in Minneapolis, which doesn't happen all the time. That's actually constructed for a truck to have a plow on the front of it to plow the snow off of those as well. And so, there's a lot of different functionalities and justifications and reasons why you have this size of a path and 10 foot. And if you look at how our residents use it, look at the one and how it's used by McLaughlin and by 85th Street and on Emporia versus the 4-foot wide ones where you can fit my shoe on it. I mean, it's a substantial difference. And so, it's for the public
Perfect, thank you.
safety.
Motion to approve the agreement with PEC for drainage analysis and conceptual design services for Seneca Street in the amount of $78,500 and authorize mayor to sign.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve the agreement with PEC for Seneca Street concept and drainage. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify for raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Moving on to the approval are the RFP 2024 road upgrade.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. If you recall back before 2020 was probably the first year that administration dabbled in changing our road upgrade maintenance strategy to looking into more of a mill and overlay, long-term upgrade of streets. Before that, we relied mainly on patching, curb and gutter replacement, crack seal, and seal coat strategy for our streets. Then in 2019, we started doing more and more streets. Well, so we call those mill and overlay RFPs. This year is a multifaceted RFP. It's going to include some streets to receive a 2-inch mill and overlay. We're going to have some streets that we previously done a mill and overlay and upgrade on to put a seal coat on so we can preserve those streets, preserve those upgrades. And then we have 331 linear feet of concrete curb and gutter to replace. And we also have three small streets, 3 cul-de-sacs that have a very, very thin chip seal layer that and under basically no base. So it's basically just over dirt. This year, it became more evident with the snows and the rapid melting and the moisture got underneath that chip seal and the heavy vehicles just tore to pieces. There really isn't any good way to repair that except for peel that chip seal off, excavate down, lay down a good 6-inch rock base, pack it in, and then just lay 3 inches of asphalt over the top. Now, one of those cul-de-sacs is off Sheridan Court down there. They've had a great deal of problems with that cul-de-sac. And then, as you recall, this winter, we had a great deal of problems with that Palos Verde circle on both sides. Now, that neighborhood out there was annexed. When I did a little bit of research, that neighborhood out there was annexed somewhere around 2005. Almost all of those roads out there are chip seal of various widths. Some of them have several layers. Some of them are a lot better. Some of them are a lot hardier. So when talking with Brent and administration, we're hoping with budgets that every year we can work a little bit more of this neighborhood in. So a few more streets as we move westward with our mill and overlay strategy. Now, we are getting far enough into our mill and overlay strategy that we're going to have to work seal coats in somewhere every year. We don't want to let these recently upgraded roads go bad to where we're upgrading them again. As well as we have some of our new developments out there that have roads in them. They're brand new roads that are getting to the point where they're going to need to be seal coated. So there may even be a time where I'm standing up here in front of you saying, well, we're just going to seal coat a bunch of roads. We're going to fix some chip seal roads and some curb and gutter. It may get to that point. But preserving our good roads is every bit as important as fixing our bad roads. So with that, I'm here to ask your approval to advertise the 2024 roadway upgrade. The timeline on this, I'm sure that question would be asked, if approved tonight, would be issued tomorrow on the 21st. Then February 28th would be the last day for respondents to submit written questions to myself. Then March 5th would be the final day for me to answer those questions. Then on March 8th would be the proposals are due at noon. Then on March 12th, I would open the bids here at City Hall at 10 a.m. And then March 19th, I would bring the proposals to you in a bid tab for approval.
I have a question.
Absolutely.
On, you have Elm and you have Hickory Lane for milling and top 2-inch top coat.
Yep.
Are we going to go in and fill those, what I call trash truck divots
The
to
valley
solid?
gutters?
No, the soft spots that curl
Yes.
up.
Yes, as we've done in the past years. So when there are soft spots, we have our own street screw come through. We'll mill those out, down, we'll dig out the dirt, and we'll lay base in there and pack base in there before they come through and do their milling.
Okay, because
We've done that before.
it was a nice day. I took a little walk today and that looked like a big concern in
Yep, I
Hickory
understand.
Lane and Third Street. I mean,
Yeah,
Elm
and-
Street.
We could, we could add that as part of the RFP. I just feel that given, if we're given enough time and we plan ahead, our crews can do that at a much lower rate
Okay.
than hiring that digging out and packing in base.
All right, Dale?
So this seems like a short timeline, but I am assuming that's because we want to get these started this year or sooner than later. Is that accurate?
As far as the timeline?
Yeah, so issue
Well,
it
the
tomorrow.
timeline, that's to get the RFP and get the bids back.
Right. I was anticipating a question from the public of the timeline, short timeline. So I was trying to get an answer of why.
Well, we want to get them out there and get started, but yeah, this is standard. You give them a week to submit questions to me, and then you give me a few days to get the last questions answered.
And also too, right now is the time where all the contractors are lining up their work for the year. And so that's why, you kind of, we're holding off a little bit on this, trying to make sure that we understood the budget and what we needed. But that's also why we're here tonight. So we can get this in front of the contractors. This is to select a proposal, to do the work. But to select a contractor to get them on board so then we can get everything scheduled to do it this year. And so that's what we're trying to shoot for right now. And if you ask the county, the county right now is doing the same thing. They're lining up everything for this year. And so everybody's trying to race around, trying to get contractors in line so then we can get a better price. So, every city about right now is when you do it.
And also, as I said, this is a multifaceted RFP, so some of this work, different parts of this work is more temperature sensitive than others as far as seal coating. If we're doing if some of it needs to be crack sealed before it seal coats, some of that stuff you don't want to be out there crack sealing when it's 100 degrees because then it don't cool, it doesn't solidify. So some of the stuff is temperature, so it won't all be done at once.
Ron?
I'm sure you're aware I'm going to ask you a question. The South Winds area there.
I understand.
Breeze and South Winds itself. Plus to south of that, got it worked down here. West Meadow and Deerfield Circle. When was the last time that was done in any of these deals?
I can't tell you. It's been before me.
What about the Surly?
Well, we went and we've crack sealed Deerfield and Scott Street. We went and put coal patch in the cracks and packed it in up there within the last couple of years, but I don't think it's been seal coated.
That you ran the truck in there.
No, not those streets.
So what do I tell the people at Breeze and South when they say, can we get the road fixed? I'm looking at it and saying, I can't answer that question.
So when Brent and I, administration, first started talking about this strategy, first we wanted to concentrate on around the schools, on our roadway maintenance project. And then We're kind of working our way west of the tracks and working our way across town now. This will pretty much get us done on this side of the track, except for going back out and trying to work in a piece of that neighborhood out west. I will continue, I plan to continue to work on streets for the next 3 years this year. So hopefully I'll have those RFPs all pre-done for the next 3 years. They'll be easy to change per budgets. You know, their budgets always are a driver in these things, but at least we can have a plan 2, 3, 4 years out. So, you know, we can look at those streets and see when we can get those scheduled.
That's all I'm worried about, as long as I can.
Yeah, so we want to start working our way east as we go through this.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. And on that note, you know, since 2020, which 2020, all we did was just Sheridan. From Main to Fifth, I think it's of note. Since then, there's been approximately 4 miles of roadway updated through mill and overlay in basically 3 years. I think that's pretty good.
Robert?
Rodney, is that out there in the public where we could see the next 2 years, the next 3 years of what your plan is? I mean, I'm trying to also help Ron out with the questions.
Well, we
from
can probably,
community.
we can probably post those as future projects. We have a future project page on
I
Public Works, so we can more than likely post those.
think that'd be great.
Obviously, there will be a disclaimer that these are subject to change
Absolutely, because you're
based on
right.
budget.
Yeah, and also you don't know. I mean, a road could
And I am
deteriorate very
still,
quickly.
we are
because
still
of traffic.
working through the GIS too. The GIS, our roadway page, has a projects page and a dashboard, and we can do future projects and past projects. But these little maps here are much easier to understand, you know, and you can visualize what's going to happen. And absolutely, we can put them out there on future projects. So as we get them put together, the list put together, we can I'll be more than happy to have those posted on those future.
That's great. Appreciate that. Thank you.
I think it's important to note too, the importance of maintaining the newer roads too. We can't just put all of our budget to old roads. We have to take care of the new
Absolutely.
roads, so.
And if you recall too, sometimes, opportunities present themselves with cost savings by partnering with the county. When the county was doing, sections of Meridian, just by, north of the middle school, to the city limits, that we jumped on that one because of the price savings that were. Same thing with Main Street all the way out to west. Some of those, we got to shift around depending upon if, they're around the area, and we were able to jump on the county bid price, which is better than what we can get because they have just a larger budget and sheer quantity. Then we want to be able to be a little bit nimble on that one too. So just so everyone, that's watching is aware of that as well. So.
Thank you.
And yes, Mr. Councilman Bass, that's very important, which is why we're trying to work in a seal coat. This year's a slurry seal. We're always looking at different types of seal coat strategies. I personally would really like to be able to find one that we don't have to restripe. But
Any question? Motion to approve?
Motion to approve the RFP for 2024 roadway upgrades and authorize staff to collect proposals and present selected bidder at future city council meeting.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the RFP for 2024 roadway upgrades. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you, Ron.
thank you.
Moving on to the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second?
Have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any further questions? Comments? All in favor of the motion, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, motion carried. We on to staff reports. Ryan's not here. Neil? Boyd? Ron?
Brief update on the Meridians project. So they have water main in the ground all the way to Second Street. They're working on the cutover to come across Second Street right now. They're trying to do some work ahead. While in this process, we're going to have to shut down 2 blocks of Meridian. And Pearson says that they always plan for a day shutdown, that they, underestimate, over deliver type thing. They plan for an 8-hour shutdown. They hope it not to be that long. Water department was out all day today, exercising valves, researching valves on how to properly shut this down. We don't want to schedule a shutdown until we know we can get it shut down. So that's what we're working on this week, is figuring out all the different valves that we need to turn to get this section of main shut down properly. So we're not going to be in a boil order or something like that just to get this cut over. Oh yeah, it's the water line. Shut down just a section of water line.
Thank you.
Which would include approximately 22 services. Now we've been assured that shutdown won't be scheduled. We'll try to schedule it after 9 a.m., get everybody out off to work. And they will be putting out door hangers, so in every effort to give 48-hour notice before we shut down.
Any questions? Okay, thank you, Ron. City engineer, Beth Barry. City clerk.
Thank you, Brent, for taking minutes. Last time at the city council meeting, I was down awaiting the arrival of my 5th grandchild down in Houston. So, healthy baby boy. I also want to thank council for your acknowledgement of a new position for me. I appreciate that. Also, I did get a notice, and I think if any of you are on the league mailings, emails, there is going to be it used to be called the Governing Body Institute. It is now called the City Leaders Academy. And that is coming up on April 12th and the 13th. That's a Friday afternoon and a Saturday. Again, if anyone would like to go, I can get you registered, or you can register for that. They always have great information. So just encourage you, if any of you would like to investigate that further, let me know.
Okay, thank you. Brent?
Good evening once again. I'll be brief. I did want to mention, too, make sure you check out our website. We do keep things updated to sign up for, releases, news flashes when it comes to the Meridian Avenue project. Of course, we'll do everything we can to try to get the information to you. But, if you could, meet us halfway and sign up for things, that is sure helpful. Also, too, the Rec and Aquatic Center. Hopefully, you've all been driving by, and or if you can't get out of your house and drive by, you can go onto our website and click this beautiful live link that will show you the stream whenever you click on it live. So like right now, it's going to show you a nice, dark image at night, but look at, we can see some actual building going up. And so that's always nice to check out. So make sure you look at those things on our website. City staff does a great job of keeping things updated for the public. So I encourage you all to make sure to visit our website and social media. Also, too, next Wednesday is a very special day, as it is Councilmember Kurt Setter's birthday. So happy early birthday.
Happy birthday. Okay, moving on to council reports. I don't have anything except I saw Jason needed to come in. Congratulations, sir, on your awards and your achievements. That's all I have, Ron.
Yeah, I've got one item. House Bill 2599. Tomorrow, they are going to be voting on this, from what I gather. If anybody's interested, please let me know at least by 10 o'clock tonight so I can notify our contact to be there. Whether we're in favor of it or not. The information I gave you is basically all they gave me, so this is very much, it's enough to get an idea of what's going on. Other than that, I have nothing else. Thank you.
Councilman Wilson,
I'm good, Mayor. Thank you.
Bass,
Nothing for me.
Anderson, not here. Gina,
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Dale,
Two things. Do we know what's going on with KGS and Fifth and Emporia? I just know that the school children have been rerouted by not being able to use that sidewalk, although it's torn up. So
Well, what we know is they're running they're trying to run a gas line east-west, and they're trying very, very hard and being very, very careful to navigate all around those water lines that go north-south through that intersection. There's water lines, there's storm, there's actually, I think, some sewer in there that they have to navigate through. So
okay, so they're just doing a line replacement. Line replacement.
they're
Okay.
running a new line through there. So, yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, they're being very, very careful. They've been in contact with us several times.
Okay.
Trying to make sure they're actually putting eyes on lines.
That's
So,
good.
We should probably thank them.
Yeah.
All right.
We also need to thank them for replacing that horrendous piece of sidewalk that we're going to have to absolutely make that property owner fix. I think we've sent a few letters, and so I'm sure that that property owner was extremely pleased to see those panels going out.
Stay right there. Can we get a TIF update next meeting? Other than what you already said, just like a whatever, just a general update.
I will see what additional information and materials I can present.
Thank you.
Chris,
I have nothing, sir.
Matt?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
have a motion and a second to adjourn. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign.